This next couple, prior to being involved in ACN, were running two traditional businesses of their own when a friend of theirs introduced them to ACN 7.5 years ago. Having had a few years of network marketing experience in the past, they knew exactly what to look for in a network company: simplicity of the business model, a viable product that everyone needs and uses, and integrity and commitment of the leadership. They found all of this in ACN and started building their ACN business with determination. They are now reaping the rewards of their decision through the power of residual income on the thousands of customers all across Europe. Please help us to promote to the position of Regional Vice President Alex and Philly Alexander from Scotland.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who gets drunk next to you. If I heaver, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's heavering to you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. When I'm working, yes, I know I'm gonna be the man who's working hard for you. When the money walks 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. When I'm lonely, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who's lonely without you. And when I'm dreaming, well, I know I'm gonna dream about the time when I'm with you. When I go out, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. And when I come home, yes, I know I'm gonna be the man who comes back home with you. I'm gonna be the man who's coming home with you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be the man.
Whew. Thank you so much. Wow, it is great to get such a lovely warm welcome from you all. And it's quite overwhelming. We've been in this business for 7.5 years. And in actual fact, this few days is actually an anniversary, because on the 12th of October, I flew to Michigan to have a look at ACN in 1998. And the only reason I did that was because of a very special friend of mine who rang us one night at midnight, because he always forgets the time difference between the USA and UK. And we were lying in bed after a hard day, and I was drinking a glass of wine, and Alex was having a whiskey. What can you expect from a Scotsman? And we were not really looking for an opportunity. We were already running two traditional companies, one a manufacturing company, which we had just started up 2 years before. And if anyone has started up a manufacturing company from scratch, they'll know how hard it is. I was the managing director of that company, and Alex was the sales and marketing director. As a married couple, not two great positions to be in, as you're in quite a lot of conflict at times. But we were building that business, and it was our dream. We were passionate that that company was going to be a multi-million-pound company for us. We believed totally in the product that we had, and that we felt that it had a niche in the marketplace. So when Artie called, we really felt we were on our dream. But you know, Artie's very persuasive. And he opens your mind to things that sometimes you don't know that you're looking for at the time. So when he said to me and explained about deregulation, he just didn't tell me about it. When he explained how it could really create that residual income for us, where we could have that income without putting all the time that we were in our other businesses, it was very attractive. Unfortunately, for me, my brother became very ill and collapsed and was rushed into hospital down in London for a bleed in the brain. And I had 5 days and I was going out to Michigan. So I flew down to London, saw him, and then flew back and went out because I believed that if Artie felt it was so good, we really did need to look at it. When I got to Michigan, it took over 20 hours to get there because there were complications with flights. I got in at 5 o'clock in the morning only to find a note to say that I had to attend a breakfast meeting at 7:30. That's ACN, they're very committed. They work real hard. What I saw in that 5-day visit just absolutely blew my mind. I could see a commitment and an integrity that I had not seen in a company before. It was Mr. Greg Provenzano, the president of ACN, who met with me and 2 friends. And what really impressed me was that when we were leaving, we were in the hotel, which was next door to the office, and we saw this figure come running across the road. And it was Greg Provenzano. And he came up to us and said, "I had to say goodbye before you left." How many presidents of a company would do something like that? I got back to the UK and I flew back really without the aeroplane. We got started, we were very excited. But unfortunately in the UK, the British government reneged on full deregulation. For 5 years, we had to work with a PIN number, a national code, even when you rang a local call number. So we had lots of people that came in, we had lots of people that came out. We had lots of customers that came in, and we had lots of customers that went out. But we still believed in the dream. Our manufacturing company started to expand into the Japanese and Middle Eastern markets. So we invested a great deal of money and a great deal of time because we were running ACN alongside our main dream. Then what happened was the currency crash in the Far East meant that our business was taken away from us. In the UK, we had 14 companies go bankrupt on us, and we were left with massive debts. But what we did have, we had a dream of what ACN could do for us. We nearly lost our home, and we had to start again. And then what we did, we just worked where we could because we had to stay in Scotland, because that's where we had to earn our income. We changed direction, but unfortunately we too had a lot of personal tragedies. In the 7.5 years we've been building ACN, we have lost 9 family members, some extremely tragic. 2 of my nephews were killed in motor accidents, 11 months between each one, from my one sister. It's difficult when you're building this business and you have lots of things happen to you. It takes you off track and it's very difficult to get back on track. But you know, what's been phenomenal for me in this business is the relationships. George Zalicki has been my mentor and friend for the last 7 years, and without him, I don't know whether I could really have survived some of the things that we've gone through. One of the things that he always says is just keep focused. Keep focused on where you're going. And that's what we did. And today, We have started again, and we're building a business strong in our own country, and then we'll move forward and move out. We have business in Australia and New Zealand that is building too, so one day maybe we can get there. But one of the things that I've learned in this business is very much that it's very important that you do the thing that you said you would do long after the time that you said it in has left you. And I learned that from George a long time ago, and it's so important. So all I say to you is, never quit, just keep growing, and you'll find success.
Hello. I was standing at the bar there and I just looked at this VOIP and I suddenly thought about the co-founder. So I think VOIP stands for Vision of International Possibility. We've got VoIP. So we've all got VoIP. I just want to say thank you very much to the co-founders for bringing the possibility to all of Europe and, of course, beyond into Asia Pacific. I want to say a special thank you to our sponsors, Art Napolitano and George Zalicki. And these guys have been absolutely steadfast. They said they would keep coming, and they've kept coming, and I hope they keep coming. I want to say thank you to the 4 team coordinators who made this RVP possible. We've been there a few times and come back, there a few times and come back. This time we just put it to bed. I need you to know it was my wife who made the goal. The goal was set for the 14th of September. And at 12:45, I rang Richard Philp, one of the TCs down there, and I said, I don't think we can make it. I'm usually quite positive, but I could see it wasn't going to happen for 1 o'clock. He said, yes, it will. And at 5-1, the last TSA went in. And we got there, we set that goal. We set that goal a good few weeks before Art Napolitano came to Scotland, and I need you to know, if you're a goal setter, write your goals down because they work. And excuse me for a moment. That was Scottish for I love you. You want to see us when we get really mad. I should let you know, we had a few problems with the last few customers, so we came up with a wonderful idea, and we said to them, this is where you sign. If compliance is looking in, I was only kidding. Okay, I need to clear up 2 things. Many people ask us, what do we wear underneath our kilts? I need to clear that up. Because the answer to that is just like the ACN business when you speak to somebody who just turns away. It doesn't matter. The other thing I need to clear up is the Loch Ness Monster. Many of you have been to Loch Ness and you haven't seen the monster. It's just like some people in the ACN business. It's all about timing. But I once took the Zalickis to Loch Ness and they were alive at 5 in Loch Ness, and that was tricky. Wow. We have had a journey, 7.5 years. We've been involved in a few businesses, but I want you to know this business has a heart. And you can travel the world looking for a business with a heart. And everybody in this business has a heart that beats for the same thing, because people in this business are caring people. And when people know you care, things can happen for you. Before we were in network marketing, we had never read any books on personal development. We didn't know such books even existed. We didn't know anything of that entire industry. But one thing that I can say to you, by the books that you read and the tapes you listen to, makes you a strong person. And what we've come through in 7.5 years, it was because of that teaching, the fundamental teaching of the human spirit, delivered to us by so many of the great RVPs and SVPs, a message of just hope and vision. And that kept us going for the 7.5 years to get here to talk to you today. Along the way in this business, I believe that you get a PhD in psychology. I think some of you might agree with that one. You get to know how people think and how they tick. And that's so important. It's so important for you to advance just knowing how people think and understanding people. There are 3 things that we're always going to be up against in this business. Some rejection. We have taken a lot of that. Some complacency. And we have taken a lot of that. And it was sometimes difficult when we were I'm going to drink Greg's water. And Robert's. Now I feel good. And I know they're saying to themselves, they're taking way too long, but God damn it, 7.5 years, you know? I'm going to tell you a quick funny story, and I'm going to wrap up. Oh, I want to show you a picture. Do you want to see a picture of 2 very special Klansmen? Can I show you a picture? Can we cue the picture? The person with the white trousers is Robert. Now, was that something? So we gave them honorary clan status. We also want to show you something else, because when we started in ACN, because our last name is Alexander, we were so very lucky to get the first and second checks ever written in ACN Europe. And those checks were handwritten. And if we could just bring those checks up so we can show you them. There they are. Look at the number, 00001, the first check in ACN Europe. And then there's the second check. Handwritten checks. I remember once I was in the front of a stage and we were talking, and somebody shouted out from the back, "What sort of company is this that has to handwrite the checks?" I said, "Handwrite the checks. This company gives you the personal touch and they care. That's why they handwrite the checks." I was in Glasgow once. I was sitting with this guy, Prospect. He was brought to me by 2 upcoming TTs. And we sat down in the Marriott, surprisingly. It was in Glasgow. And back then, you had to have yourself and 3 TTs to make an ETT. And I said to him, "This will be you with Bill with 6 customers. This will be you with Joe with 6 customers. And this will be Sue with 6 customers, and you're an ETT." He says, "I don't think Sue will get 6 customers." I says, "No, she will, because we're going to show her exactly the same as Joe and Bill and Sue. So believe me, Sue will get 6 customers, you'll become an ETT." He says, I'm telling you, Sue will not get those 6 customers. I says, well, we do train this pretty good, and I'm telling you now, we'll get Sue with those 6 customers. He says, how long have you known Sue? I says, well, I'm not met her yet. He says, look, I've been married to her for 30 years, and she will not get 6 customers. At which point, my 2 guys fell off the sofa because they didn't know his wife was called Sue. He jumped up and said, you people are weird. And as he left, I says, no, come back, come back. We'll help Sue get the customers. He says, keep away from my wife. So that one got away. A few get away, you know, even in Glasgow. Oh, by the way, last weekend, the French, they came to Glasgow. Well done, the French, for coming to Glasgow. Vive la France. In our journey, we've gone through life with lots of Y junctions. You come up against Y junctions all the time, and you make a decision in the moment at that time. Sometimes you don't get it right. You don't know that at that time. So you just have to be patient with this business. Because when you carry on a little bit more, you come up against another Y junction. And it's now the time for another new decision. And you come up against another Y junction and make another new decision. Because this business goes from moment to moment. And every moment that you go forward, you are learning our business. So for you folks there, be patient. Don't worry about how we do it. Just be patient and listen to the people who know this business. We have been traveling this journey for 7.5 years. So the message that I can leave you on behalf of the Red Apple organization is stay in the game. Thank you.